I used to be the kind of guy people talked over in meetings. You know the type. Quiet, always sitting in the corner, laptop open, barely saying a word. Yeah, that was me. My name's Daniel, and about 3 years ago, I was broke, ignored, and one bad paycheck away from being completely screwed. I'm not even exaggerating. I was working this dead-end engineering job in a company that loved to call itself innovative, but in reality, man, they just recycled the same ideas over and over again. Every day felt the same. Wake up, commute, sit in a gray office under those flickering lights, pretend to care about meetings. It could have been emails. And the worst part? I actually had an idea. Not just some random what if. I mean something real. Something I'd been working on for years. A system that could automatically optimize energy distribution in real time. Basically, it could prevent overloads, blackouts, save insane amounts of money. But every time I tried to bring it up, people shut me down fast. Daniel, that's not practical. Too complicated, no market for that. One time, my manager literally laughed. Not like a little chuckle, I mean full-on, lean back in his chair kind of laugh. That one stuck with me. After that, I just stopped talking. But I didn't stop building. Every night after work, I'd go back to my tiny apartment, open my laptop, and keep grinding. No team, no funding, no support. Just me and this idea everyone said was useless. And yeah, I started doubting myself too. Like, what if they were right? What if I just wasted years of my life chasing something nobody wanted? There were nights I'd just sit there staring at the screen thinking, dude, what are you even doing? But for some reason, I couldn't let it go. Something in my gut kept telling me, keep going, just a little more. So I did. Even when my bank account was basically a joke, even when I was eating instant noodles for the third night in a row, I kept building. And I had no idea I was about to hit a point where everything would either completely fall apart or change my life forever. So yeah, I kept grinding. Day job, night project, repeat. But here's the thing nobody tells you about chasing your dream. At some point, it stops feeling inspiring and starts feeling straight up stupid. Like, I was exhausted all the time. I'd show up to work half dead, running on coffee and like 3 hours of sleep. And my boss? Oh, he noticed. Not in a good way. One morning, he pulls me into his office, closes the door, and goes, Daniel, what exactly do you do here? I just sat there like, seriously? He starts going off about performance, focus, team contribution, all that corporate nonsense. And then he says it. Maybe this just isn't the right fit for you. Man, that hit hard, because I knew what he really meant. A week later, yeah, I was out. No big dramatic moment, no "we regret to inform you" speech. Just a short meeting, a forced handshake, and suddenly, I had no job, no income, no backup plan. Just rent due in 2 weeks and a project that nobody believed in. I remember walking back to my apartment that day thinking, all right, this is it. You officially messed up your life. And for the first time, I seriously thought about quitting. Like, actually quitting. Not taking a break, not pivoting. I mean, deleting the whole project, starting over, getting a normal job, playing it safe. That night, I opened my laptop, stared at the code, and just sat there. No typing, no ideas, nothing, just silence. And then I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened my email and started going through all the old rejection messages. Yeah, I don't know why either. Kind of masochistic, I guess. Not interested, doesn't align with our vision, too early, too risky, one after another. And the more I read, the worse it got. Until I hit this one message. It was from some mid-level investor I pitched like 2 years ago. At the time, I barely paid attention to it. But now, something felt off. Because instead of a straight-up rejection, it said, if this works at scale, it could be big, but I don't think you'll get it there. I just sat there like, wait, what? Not this is useless, not no market. He said it could be big. He just didn't think I could pull it off.
And I don't know why, but that flipped a switch in my head. Like suddenly, it wasn't about proving the idea anymore. It was personal. You don't think I can do it? All right, bet. That night, I didn't quit. I went all in. I rewrote major parts of the system, cleaned up months of messy code, pulled an all-nighter, then another one. I was locked in. No distractions, no second guessing, just pure tunnel vision. And about a week later, I finally had something that actually worked. Not perfect, not pretty, but real. A functional prototype. And for the first time in years, I thought, okay, this might actually be something. But what I didn't realize yet was that building it, that was the easy part. Getting anyone to care? Yeah, that's where things got real messy.
So now I had a working prototype. Not just theory, not just code that kind of worked. I mean, a real system. Something I could actually show people. And in my head, I was like, all right, this is it. This is where everything turns around. Yeah, I was way too optimistic. First thing I did, I started reaching out again. Investors, startups, energy companies, anyone who would even maybe listen. I put together this whole pitch deck, cleaned up the demo, practiced what I was going to say. Man, I was ready. Or at least I thought I was. The responses, same as before. Actually, worse. Because now people weren't just ignoring me, they were politely destroying me. This is impressive, but not something we can use right now. Come back when you have traction. Do you have a team? What's your user base? User base? Bro, it was just me in a tiny apartment trying not to go broke. One call in particular, I still remember that one. It was with this startup founder. Young guy, super confident, you know the type. I showed him the demo. For a second, he actually looked interested, and I thought, finally, someone gets it. Then he leans back and goes, okay, but who's gonna trust you with infrastructure like this? Man, that one hit different, because it wasn't about the idea anymore. It was me. No reputation, no company, no credibility, just some random dude with code. After that call, I just sat there staring at my screen again like, yeah, I'm cooked. Days went by, then weeks. Nothing. No deals, no callbacks, no money coming in. My bank account? Let's just say I started checking prices before buying instant noodles. That's how bad it got. I even started applying for jobs again. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to survive. And that's when it really messed with my head, because every application felt like I was giving up, like I was slowly admitting they were right, this isn't going anywhere. One night, I was this close to shutting the whole thing down. I even hovered over the delete button. No joke. I was like, just end it, be normal, move on. But right before I did, I had this random thought. What if I'm just showing this to the wrong people? Like I kept trying to go through the official route. Investors, companies, gatekeepers. What if I just skipped all that? So instead of deleting everything, I did something kind of impulsive. I recorded a rough demo video. Nothing fancy, no editing, no script, just me explaining the system, showing how it works, talking through the idea. And at the end, I literally said, I don't have funding, I don't have a team, but I know this works. And if someone out there sees what I see, reach out. Then I uploaded it. No expectations, no strategy, just whatever happens, happens. I went to sleep that night thinking, yeah, nobody's gonna watch this. And for the first few hours, I was right. Like 12 views, half of them probably me refreshing the page. But then, the next morning, something weird started happening.
I woke up to my phone buzzing like crazy. At first, I thought it was spam or something. You know, when your phone just keeps vibrating and you're like, bro, what now? I check it, and I see notifications. A lot of them. Comments, emails, messages, and I'm like, wait, what? I opened the video. Last night, 12 views. That morning, 47,000. I just stared at the screen like, no way this is real. I refreshed, 52K. Refresh again, 61K. And the comments? Man, they were going wild. This is actually genius. Why is nobody funding this guy? Energy companies need this. Someone get this in front of the right people ASAP. I was reading all this like, where were you people 2 weeks ago? But it didn't stop there. Someone reposted the video on a tech forum. Then it hit Reddit, then Twitter. And you already know how that goes. Once the internet decides something is interesting, it just takes off. By the end of the day, the video had over 300,000 views. And my inbox? Completely flooded. Random engineers, startup founders, even a couple people claiming they worked in energy companies. At this point, I'm still thinking, okay, this is hype. It'll die in a day or two. But then I got that email. You know, the kind that makes you sit up straight. It was short, no fluff. We saw your system. Can you get on a call today? No emojis, no hype, just straight to the point. The company name? Yeah, I recognized it instantly. Big, like really big. The kind of company that doesn't email random guys with one YouTube video. My first reaction? This has to be fake. I literally checked the email domain like 3 times. It was real. And suddenly my heart started racing, because now it wasn't just internet attention anymore. This was real world, high stakes. I sat there for a minute just thinking, don't mess this up. So I replied, yeah, I'm available. Cool, simple, like I wasn't internally panicking. The call was scheduled later that day, and I swear those few hours waiting felt longer than the past 10 years. I tried to prepare, opened my code, reviewed everything, practiced explaining it, but my brain was all over the place. What if it crashes? What if they hate it? What if I can't answer something? And then the darker thought hit. What if this is my one shot and I blow it? By the time the call started, I was nervous, like really nervous. But I joined anyway. Camera on, tried to act normal. On the other side, 3 people, all serious, no small talk. One of them looks at me and goes, "So, you built this alone?" And right there, I knew this conversation was about to change everything.
So, you built this alone? That was the first thing they asked me. No hi, no how are you, straight to business. I just nodded like, yeah, trying to play it cool, but inside I was like, don't mess this up, don't mess this up. One of them leans forward and goes, walk us through it. All right, this was it. I started explaining the system. At first, my voice was a little shaky, not gonna lie, but once I got into it, something clicked. It's like I forgot who I was talking to. I wasn't the broke guy anymore. I was the guy who built this thing. I showed them how the system predicts overloads in real time, how it reroutes energy automatically, how it reduces waste. I even ran the live demo. And bro, that was the scariest moment of my life, because if that demo crashed, game over, like instantly. I hit run. A few seconds passed, felt like hours. Then it worked. Perfectly. No lag, no bugs, no weird glitches, just clean, smooth output. I tried to stay calm on the outside, but inside, let's go. They didn't react right away, just watching, serious faces, taking notes, and that silence? Man, that silence was brutal. Finally, one of them says, okay? That's it, just okay. I'm sitting there like, okay, that's all you got? Then another guy goes, do you realize what this could do at scale? And I paused for a second, because yeah, I had thought about it for years, but hearing them say it hit different. I go, yeah, I think it could change how grids handle load completely. He nods, then he says something I'll never forget. We've been trying to solve this exact problem for 5 years. 5 years. And suddenly, everything made sense. All the rejections, all the no market comments, they weren't seeing it. But the people who actually needed it, they'd been stuck on this problem the whole time. Then came the question, the one that changed everything. Are you open to working with us? I didn't even hesitate. Yeah, too fast, probably. They exchanged looks. Then one of them says, we'd like to move quickly. This is time sensitive.
Time sensitive? I didn't even know what that meant yet, but I was about to find out. Because right after that, he adds, there's a situation developing with the grid, and if this works the way we think it does, he pauses. We don't have much time. And right there, I realized this wasn't just about money anymore. This wasn't just some startup opportunity. Something bigger was going on. And somehow, I had built the one thing they needed.
So now I'm sitting there like, wait, what do you mean we don't have much time? And one of them finally explains it. There was a massive strain building up across parts of the grid. Like, not public yet, not on the news, but internally, yeah, people were freaking out. Demand spikes, aging infrastructure, systems not keeping up. And if it tipped over, we're talking large-scale outages. Not just your lights go out for an hour. I mean cities, regions, millions of people. And I'm just sitting there thinking, why am I even in this conversation? Like, I was broke 2 weeks ago. Now suddenly I'm on a call about preventing a potential grid failure? Life comes at you fast. They didn't waste time. Can you adapt your system for a live environment? That was the question. And here's the honest answer. I didn't know. My prototype worked in simulations and control scenarios, but real-world infrastructure, that's a whole different beast. One mistake and, yeah, not good. I hesitated for a second, just a second, but they noticed. One of them goes, we don't need perfect, we need something that can help, fast. And that right there, that snapped me out of it, because suddenly it wasn't about doubt anymore. It was about stepping up. So I said, yeah, I can do it. Even though in my head I was like, bro, you better figure this out real quick. Within 48 hours, I was in a completely different world. They flew me out. First time in my life I wasn't stressing about the price of a plane ticket. I walked into this operations center and, man, screens everywhere, live data streams, engineers running around like it's a movie or something. And I'm just there like, yep, I definitely don't belong here. But nobody treated me like I didn't, which was new. They gave me access to real grid data, real systems, no more safe environment. This was it. I set everything up, hands literally shaking a bit, not gonna lie, because now the stakes were real. If my system failed, it's not just embarrassment, it's consequences, big ones. One of the engineers looks at me and goes, you ready? I took a deep breath, looked at the screen, and thought, this is what you've been working for, don't choke now. So I said, yeah, let's do it. I deployed the system, and for a moment, nothing happened. Just data flowing, numbers updating, same as always. Then, it started adjusting things. Small changes at first, load shifting, balancing. The system was working, but nobody celebrated because this was just the beginning. The real test was coming, and we all knew it because a major spike was expected in a few hours, the kind that usually causes failures. And now, everything depended on whether my system could handle it. So we waited, watching the screens, watching the numbers climb. Tension in the room, crazy. And I'm just standing there thinking, if this breaks, it's on me. Then one of the engineers quietly says, here it comes. And the data suddenly spiked. Hard. The spike hit hard. I'm talking numbers jumping like crazy, way past normal levels. You could feel the tension in the room. Nobody was talking, just eyes locked on the screens. And me? I swear my heart was beating so loud I thought everyone could hear it. This is it. If the system failed now, we know immediately. For a split second, nothing. Then, my system kicked in. Fast, way faster than I expected. You could see it adjusting in real time, rerouting load, balancing pressure across the grid, shifting everything like some invisible hand was controlling it. One of the engineers literally goes, wait, is that your system? Another guy leans in closer. No way. The numbers stabilized, not slowly, instantly. Like what was supposed to overload the system just didn't. No failure, no collapse. Everything held. And the craziest part? It didn't just survive the spike, it optimized it. Reduced strain, improved efficiency. It actually made things better under pressure. The room went from dead silent to complete chaos. People talking over each other. Are you seeing this?
Check Sector 3. It's stabilizing everything. And I just stood there like, did that actually work? Because even I didn't expect it to perform like that under real conditions. Then someone pats me on the shoulder and goes, "Man, you just saved us." Saved them. That word hit different, because a few weeks ago, I couldn't even get a call back. Now I'm standing in a control room with people saying I just prevented a major failure. Life makes zero sense sometimes. After that, everything moved fast, like really fast. Meetings, contracts, legal stuff. They didn't want to test it later. They wanted it now. Full integration. And yeah, that's when the money came in. I'm not going to throw crazy numbers around, but let's just say I went from checking if I could afford groceries to not worrying about money at all, overnight. But here's the weird part. That wasn't even the best thing. The best thing? People finally listened. Engineers, companies, people who used to ignore guys like me. Now they were asking questions, taking notes, actually respecting what I built. And I'm not going to lie, that felt better than the money. Way better. A few months later, things calmed down. The system got fully deployed. No big headlines with my name on them. No viral fame anymore. Just quiet impact. Which, honestly, fits me. I'm still the same guy. Still like working alone. Still not the loudest in the room. The only difference? Now when I speak, people don't talk over me. And sometimes I think back to that night when I almost deleted everything. Hovered over that button like, just quit, be normal. If I had clicked it, none of this happens. No breakthrough, no system, no second chance. So yeah, if you're out there working on something and it feels like nobody cares, like you're just wasting your time, I get it. I've been there. But sometimes you're not wrong. You're just early. And the difference between nobody believes in you and you changed everything is just one moment, one shot, one decision to not quit.
Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.